but on the 8 smarts, that really was insightful to me, especially for one of my children who definitely wasn't academic smart, and I had to understand that and help him understand that. It was so helpful. So talk about that book a little bit and what the main ideas are.
Yeah, I'd love to. So we have 8 smarts, all of us created with the capacity to develop all 8. God is generous. Researched by Howard Gardner at Harvard University, and I took his work and kind of added the Christian piece to it, if you will, and made it accessible to parents. And there's 8 smarts, we all have them, and word and logic are what I call the school smarts. So children who have a lot of ability for speaking, reading, writing, and listening, asking and answering questions, math and science, tend to be what we call the word and logic smart kids, and they gravitate towards school. We were the nerds, we didn't mind school, we found school to be an easy place. But how many of us know people where school was hard, but life has been easy? And that means that the other 6 really matter, and they even matter in school. Picture smart kids, picture, music, body, nature, people, and self. Really important. Picture smart kids think with their eyes and pictures, music smart with rhythms and melodies, body smart through movement and touch, nature smart with patterns, so that's how they know it's a bluebird, not a blue jay. And then people, we think with people, like what you and I are doing right here, bouncing ideas back and forth, asking and answering questions, reading body language so that we can discern whether we should move on or keep talking. And then self-smart, thinking deeply inside of ourselves and being comfortable with our own ideas. And I think, Matthew, that those last 2 matter greatly. I think people smart, people and self.
People and self.
Yeah, you know, the world would say word and logic matter the most because earning an A matters the most. Well, actually, children with high character and people skills will be the ones that make it in a very chaotic culture with messy people. If you want your kids to be ready to be promoted, if you will, to have healthy marriages and be good parents and to be able to contribute to the culture, they need to be people smart, where they can read body language, respond appropriately, discuss ideas, learn to debate without arguing, learn to compromise when it's appropriate, knowing who's for them and who's against them. I've actually gone on record to say that it's the most important intelligence, partly because it's been awakened later because of technology. Because we're allowing our kids to have their eyes down on their devices. We don't even make them look up and say hello. And so they're losing the ability, some of them, to read body language, which is extremely important. It's how we know, walking into a room, where to sit. It's how we can figure out who's for them and who's against them. And then it's also the ability for groupthink, where we can agree to disagree, agree to agree, compromise, gain ground with, hey, you think this, I think this. What do you think? Well, then collectively, what do we think? Such an important skill. And then the self-smart people, self-smart people think deeply. So the self-smart part of your brain, man, you know what you know, because you've pondered it and thought it and prayed it and journaled it and just walked and wondered about it, and you draw conclusions. Some self-smart people never share them because their joy is knowing what they know. But we need to share what we know because that's the way that we change the world and leave it a better place. So those 2, now that combination internally is really confusing. I want to be alone, I want to be with people. I want to be alone, I want to be with people. But having both really matters greatly.
Now you had this part as a part of the larger discussion of identity.
Yes.
And how this is important for people to understand how God made them and receive that.
You remember well. Yeah, identity is who am I? The big identity question, who am I? And identity controls behavior. Who we think we are shows up. So if I think I'm stupid, I don't study. People think, well, if you're stupid, study more. No, if a kid or a teen or a young adult thinks, man, I don't have a brain, then why would I study? It won't help. It's very, very critical. Identity controls behavior. So if I find out that I'm picture smart and music smart, I'm not just creative and artistic and talented and gifted, I'm smart. Now I don't worry about I'm not the smart one, because a lot of these kids think, well, my brother's the smart one. I'm going to let him shine. I'll let him go to college. I'll let him, earn the A's, if you will, and I'm going to be in the back seat. No, you don't want any kid in the back seat. You want everyone to understand that God did a good thing. I know somebody who, for 32 years, was mad at God Because now this kid, I read about this in my book, she was a magna cum laude graduate. She choreographed in New York City and Nashville and did dance and set design and different things at Walt Disney World, and yet never knew she was smart. And she ends she wrote me an 8-page handwritten letter to me after she heard me speak. And she ended the letter with, for 32 years I've been mad at God because I didn't think he made me smart. And now I know he did. And thank you for reorienting my relationship with God. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not just about earning A's and studying. It's about a perspective that, you know, we were God did a good thing when he made us. And so identity influences belonging. You know, if I think I'm stupid, who do I look to hang out with? Right? And identity influences purpose. Why am I alive? If I think, well, I'm stupid, I'm slow, and ideas are really hard, and again, there's a hierarchy of giftedness. Not everybody was created by God to be smart in all 8 ways with an A+ average, if you will. But how do we rhythm that? How do we believe that? How do we perceive that our future in light of that? I was a chatty Cathy. Now people pay me to talk. It's like a beautiful thing, you know. I read more books in the library reading program in the summer, and now I'm an author of 6. Childhood matters. Childhood shows up. Who we think we are is who we will become. And so what do you believe about your kids? And, you know, do you understand that they're capable of more than you probably thought they were? And they work in combination. It is a great talk for homeschool parents because we are responsible for educating these kids according to God's design, not parenting who you wish you had, but parenting who you actually have.
Yeah, this idea, this talk really gave me in the book, because I've had my kids do the quiz. And,
Good.
But I have a high school daughter who says she's not smart.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it was like she just walked into the this guy, I'm not smart. I said, yeah.
Let's talk.
I know about this.
I love it.
So I said, well, what you're saying is you have a difficult time with these kinds of subjects, right?
Oh, good comeback.
And she said, well, that's one way of being smart. You know, we just talked about it.
Oh, cool.
And but she's a people magnet. Like,
okay.
She is the best friend of 100 people.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? She just
Yeah.
And I said, that's amazing. Let's talk about your ability to make friends and connect with people, and you understand them, and and she's just.
And what that means for her future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I love that, because what I love to say to kids is, no, you're not stupid because you made 4 mistakes. You're not as smart in that area. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were careless, or maybe it was new and challenging. Oh, maybe it was tricky. I mean, but don't say that you're stupid because you struggled with it.
Right.
No, you're smart differently. Oh, yeah, we could talk all night.